you know, so pretty much the thing you have to think about is how it works. See if I can show, if I have an example to show. All right, I always got some demonstration examples. Yes, it is safe. I wouldn't do a technique if it wasn't safe. Okay, here's what I'm going to show you, right? So let's imagine this is your abdominal wall, okay? Okay. This is your abdominal wall. See that? This is the abdominal wall, okay? Now, here we go. Look, this is the fascia. What is fascia? Fascia is like a leather belt that envelops our organs. Our muscles are under there as well, right? So what do we do in an abdominal class here? Tummy tuck. We are lifting the abdominal wall up off of the fascia. Why? Because we have loose skin, we have stretch marks, belly buttons in there too, and we want to pull the skin out, right? Like that's the goal. That's why it's called a tummy tuck. So you lift up your abdominal wall, right? And you do what you have to do here. Here's a muscle. You know, if we have a muscle separation. Listen, y'all, I'm an artist of the human body. I have never claimed to be an artist on paper. These are your muscles, right? What are we going to do? We're going to suture those muscles together, right? So we've sutured the muscles together, right? Maybe we've done lipo on the abdominal wall, right? Because we should not be doing lipo on the fascia. Then that's how you get issues and organ punctures, etc. Okay, so we have lifted up our abdominal wall. We've done our muscle repair. We put some Exparel for pain control. Y'all, we did all the things. Now we're gonna advance this excess skin so that we're gonna cut this excess skin out, right? So let's say we do that, we cut the excess skin out, right? Use your imagination, pretend we've done that. We have a problem here, right? Because we lifted all this abdominal wall tissue off the fascia. We have a problem. We have now created a space that was not there. This space we've created is new. That's a new space. What are we gonna do to address that space? So several options. Again, y'all, use your imagination. We could put a drain in. This is your drain, and the drain is gonna help eliminate the possibility that fluid builds up, so that this stuff we just lifted up can adhere back down. That's the goal. You want it to adhere back down. Now, what do I do? Why don't I use drains? Am I crazy? Why am I not using the drain? Well, here's what I do. This is what I say. I say, you know what? I'm going to try and reconstitute what I have just lifted up and reconstitute the natural anatomy, right? So what do? You take a suture from here to here. From here to here. I am using sutures to basically suture down all that tissue that I have lifted up, and then I'm going to take off the skin. So several things happen. Just bear with me here, y'all. I've taken out my skin. Now I have sutured all this abdominal wall back down to the fascia. So I've tacked it back down, right? So what? There is no space. Where's the fluid going to go, right? So I've eliminated the potential space. So there is the fluid. The fluid doesn't accumulate, right? Fluid accumulates because there's a potential space, right? If you have a bottle full of water where there's no more fluid, can't go, right? So the similar concept is similar, except this is not full of water, but there's nowhere for fluid to go. So fluid doesn't, that's the whole idea, is fluid doesn't actually accumulate. Now here's the other cool thing. This is my incision line. There is like minimal tension at that incision line. Why? Because I have basically tacked down sequentially that skin. Let's say I didn't do that, then I might have some tension because basically I am relying on the sutures at the incision line to hold the skin, and that's it. With the progressive tension sutures, there's like you can think of it like a gradation or a stepwise system where, you'll see I'm getting like too excited about this, but there's a stepwise system where I'm using all these sutures to basically hold that skin down. So I limit tension. Scars are healing beautifully. Like the scars heal really well, right? Fluid collections are like it's very abnormal. Like maybe once every 6 months I try to draw out fluid, and I don't even always get fluid out. And that's sometimes I might be thinking there's fluid, but there's not, it's just swelling. So like it is so unusual for us to have fluid collection. I actually had more fluid collections when I used to use drains. Now I did a fellowship in aesthetic surgery with plastic surgeons. There were 7 plastic surgeons at that practice that were like some of the best plastic surgeons I've ever seen, and that was many years ago. Whenever I did my finished my training, I did an additional year fellowship. I didn't have to do that. I could have just came out and been in practice, but I said I want to be like the best I can be. But that's where I learned that technique, and I'm going to be honest. If I had not learned that technique, I don't know that I'd be comfortable doing it because it's technical, it takes longer, it's kind of stressful. If you haven't like seen someone do it and really learned it, right? So that is the idea of drainless. That is much longer than anybody asks for.